receipts. I like to bring the receipts. So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration that the president has laid out for members in that meeting today. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise that the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap, eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners, close the carried interest tax deduction loophole, tax cuts for Made in America products. This will be the largest tax cut in history for middle-class working Americans. The president is committed to working with Congress to get this done.
Permanent extension?
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones here, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I am the publisher of Black Westchester Magazine, Damon K. Jones, and welcome to the Publisher's Desk, where we talk about life, culture, community, and faith, but we also talk about the news. And this episode, we're going to discuss about Trump's tax cuts and what it means to Black America. Trump's tax cuts and what it means to Black America. Recently, President Donald Trump has unveiled the new tax proposal aimed at benefiting the middle-class Americans by eliminating taxes on tip, overtime pay, Social Security benefits, as well as extending the 2017 tax cuts. Now, while we're having a nationwide debate on these tax cuts, the key question remains: how does these tax cuts impact Black America? What are these tax cuts going to do for Black people? This is Black Westchester Magazine, the news with the Black point of view. So we always want to ask, how does these things affect Black people? We always want to break through the noise, right? Because we're dealing with racial wealth gaps, disparity in wages, and historical economic barriers as Black people. So we have to understand the specifics, effects of these tax cuts on Black households, entrepreneurs, and workers, because we need to break through the noise. And we're going to do that tonight, brothers and sisters. We are going to do that tonight. So let's dive right in it. Let's dive right in it so I don't have to keep you long. The key tax cuts and their impact on Black Americans. The first one is elimination of taxes on tips. Now, many Black people work in the service industry jobs where the tips make up a significant portion of their earnings. Under Donald Trump's plan, tip workers such as restaurant servers, hotel staff, bartenders, rideshare drivers will keep 100% of their earned gratuities without being taxed. This could provide an immediate financial boost for workers in industries where wages are traditionally lower. So let's look at number 2, tax-free overtime pay. Now, who's going to benefit the most? I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to be a major win for Black civil service workers. One of the most impactful components of this tax plan for Black America is the elimination of federal taxes on overtime pay, which could have an enormous benefit to Black civil service employees. Black Americans have strong presence in the public sector jobs, including police officers, firefighters, corrections officers, transportation workers, healthcare professional fields, where overtime is not just common, but in many cases is mandatory. Many of these workers put up to 12 to 16-hour shifts, working around the clock to serve their communities. Currently, overtime wages are taxed at a significantly higher rate than your regular wages, making it difficult for workers to fully benefit from their extra hours. Removing federal taxes on overtime pay will allow these essential workers to take home more than their hard-earned money. creating an immediate financial relief and helping those close the racial wage gap. For instance, if a black firefighter or a police officer or a court officer or even a DPW worker works extra shifts to support their family, they can see thousands of dollars a year in additional take-home pay, providing them with more financial stability, opportunities to invest, and a stronger pathway to home ownership and wealth building. Number 3, no more taxes on Social Security benefits. For many black retirees, many of whom depend heavily on Social Security due to historic inequities in wealth accumulation, this proposal could mean thousands of extra dollars per year in retirement income. Eliminating taxes on Social Security will provide much needed relief to elderly black Americans who often have fewer savings, less assets compared to their white counterparts. Number 4, doubling the SALT deduction cap for married couples. The state and local tax, SALT, deduction cap will increase from $10,000 to $20,000 for married couples, benefiting homeowners in high-tax states like New York. While black homeownership rates are low than the national average due to systematic barriers, those who do own homes in states like New York, California, Maryland could see some tax relief. However, this change may have a limited impact on a broader black community since homeownership remains a challenge for black Americans. Extending the 2017 tax cuts for individuals. Trump's new plan seeks to extend the lower income tax rates introduced in 2017. While this would continue to provide relief for many middle-class black families, critics argue that the wealthiest individuals will benefit it the most. Given black Americans on average have lower household incomes, the effects of these cuts might not be as significant compared to wealthier taxpayers. Number 6 is child tax credit expansion. Child tax credit expansion. Expanding the child tax credit could provide direct financial relief for black families, especially black single mothers, who are more likely to have children under 18. If the credit becomes fully refundable, lower income black households will benefit the most, providing additional funds to cover child care, education, and daily expenses. Number 7, reducing the capital gains tax rate. Lowering capital gains tax rates primarily benefits investors and those who buy and sell assets like stocks and real estate. Given the racial wealth gap, where black people hold fewer assets than their white counterparts, this particular cut may be in favor of the wealthy individuals. We're going to be honest about it. However, black entrepreneurs, small business owners could benefit if they sell their business or investments at a lower tax rate. Number 8, we got making student loan interest deductible again. With black college graduates carrying the highest level of student loan debt compared to other racial groups in America, restoring the ability to deduct student loan interest could provide a significant relief. This will make it easier for black borrowers to manage their monthly loan payments and work towards financial independence. So the question remains, how is Trump going to offset the costs? So the plan is to offset the cost by closing loopholes for billionaires. To fund these tax cuts, Trump is proposing the removal of tax breaks that primarily benefit billionaires. hedge fund managers, and sports team owners. Here's some of the key changes. Ending the carried interest loophole. This allows private equity and hedge funds managers to pay lower tax rates on investment earnings. Its closure will not directly affect Black people, but could contribute to more equitable tax system. Eliminate tax perks for sports team owners. Black professional athletes may see changes in their contract structure, but the larger impact will likely be on the wealthy team owners, not everyday Black Americans. Cutting the real estate tax loopholes. While this may reduce tax advantages for the high net worth real estate investors, it does little to address the lack of generational wealth that has prevented many Black families from owning property. So what are the concerns and what are the controversies around these tax proposals? Remember, these are tax proposals. Although the tax plan includes policies that could benefit working class Black people, critics argue that the plan disproportionately helps wealthy individuals while adding to the federal deficit. Economists suggest that ending the 27, no. So what are the concerns and what are the controversies around Trump's proposed tax plan? Although Trump's tax plan includes policies that can benefit working class Black people, critics argue that the plan disproportionately helps the wealthy individuals while adding to the federal deficit. Economics, oh, Jesus. Do it again. So what are the concerns and the controversy around Trump's tax proposal? Although Trump's tax plan includes policies that can benefit working class Black Americans, critics argue that the plan disproportionately helps wealthier individuals while adding to the federal deficit. Economists estimate that extending the 2017 tax cuts alone could increase the national debt by $4 trillion over the next decade, a cost that could lead to budget cuts in vital programs. Additionally, some advocates believe that the tax cuts alone won't address the deeper economic disparities that exist due to systematic racism, such as discrimination in hiring, lending practices, and access to capital for Black-owned businesses. My final thoughts. Will Black America benefit? Trump's proposed tax cuts could provide a short-term financial relief for Black workers, retirees, and families by reducing the tax burden on wages, Social Security benefits, and student loans. However, long-term impact remains unclear, as the wealth gap, racial disparities in employment, and underinvestment in Black communities persists. Ultimately, while these tax cuts may put money in the pockets of Black Americans today, their effectiveness in closing economic disparities will depend on whether they are paired with broader policies aimed at wealth equality. Now, let's remember, these are just Trump's proposals. It has to go to Congress. It has to go to the House and the Senate. And I really, really, really want to see the argument if it hits to the floor, especially from Democrats. How would they vote no if these bills hit the floor? How are they going to go back to this is a chess move, brothers and sisters. This is a real chess move, because how are the Democrats going to go back to their districts and say that they voted against eliminating tax on tips? They voted against not having, removing tax on overtime, especially if you're in majority black districts where a lot of the black middle class are civil service workers, whether they work for municipalities, police, fire, in City Hall, DPW, all these places that a lot of these departments get overtime. DPW, we up in New York, man. It snows. DPW's out there trying to get the streets clean, working overtime. And as someone who's retired 33 years and working for Westchester County, and all the overtime that I've done and seeing the amount of money that they take out of my overtime.
What?
If I had that in 33 years and was smart enough to take that extra money and invest it and put it in stocks and crypto and invest. So this will benefit a lot of civil service workers who work overtime. And now in New York, there's some places in New York, well, I think it's all, that now I think the tier 6, 7, I don't know what they up to, 8, tier 8 retirement, ain't no overtime in their checks, or just a portion of overtime can go to their pension. So now if you get the taxes taken out of your overtime, you take that money now and you put it in a 401k. You put it in a 401k. You don't spend it. Usually we gonna spend it. We just gonna mess the money up. But if we don't, if we're smart, you work overtime, you get that difference that will come out, but you start putting that up in your 401k or whatever type of investment or other retirement fund that you have outside of your pension, because your overtime is not being included in your pension. So you could get extra money. Like I said, this is just proposals. It's up to the House now to see what they're going to do. It's up to them now to see what they are going to do with this. But it's not hard or it's not bad for us to have these discussions and set up a plan if he does it. Whoever don't have a plan, plans to fail. And a lot of times we see a lot of these leaders want to complain instead of we having discussions. How do we deal with this issue? How do we benefit from it? Because if we're just going to complain and not talk about how we benefit from it for the 4 years of Trump's presidency, in 4 years, we're going to get left behind. We're going to be left behind because we didn't do anything but complain. We never planned. How do we take advantage of situations? So that's it, man. Thank you for watching. Please, if you like this discussion, please subscribe, please follow, please share. You know, this is not a support of Trump. This is not anything against Trump. This is saying, listen, if these proposals happen, how does Black America benefit from it? Sometimes we just can't have the all doom and gloom talk because we sound like slaves. We sound like slaves. Only thing I hear from these politicians now.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
Hear nothing else but that. Instead of laying plans on how do we benefit, I don't know, man. Thank you again. I don't want to go off in the tirade, but Black people, we really need an agenda. We really need a national agenda instead of letting these political parties give us an agenda.
Welcome to the Publisher's Desk with Black Westchester Magazine's publisher, Damon K. Jones. Life, culture, community, and faith.
Yeah.